Hi, welcome to the Family Project. If you're like most people and you feel kind of a little bit of the pain of your family being scattered geographically and not having enough time for each other, and you don't feel really connected enough, then I think you might be in the right place, because in the next few minutes I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas, and I'll be sharing even more in the 2 or 3 videos to come about how you can do something very, very simple to take the best of your family story and turn it into a creative project, and do that in a way that actually creates connection while you're doing it and afterwards. I'm John Paul Flintoff. I'm a writer and a performer. As well as that, I happen to be married to the brilliant Harriet Green, who has for 10 years edited the incredibly successful family section on the Guardian newspaper, and we wrote a book called The Family Project. And it's no exaggeration to say that between us, we have helped literally thousands of people to tell their family stories. The goal of this workshop is to show you how you can take one small element of your whole family story, just one little thing, and you can turn it into an heirloom. But there's a secret to how you do that. You can't just take one photograph and expect everyone to love it, or to tell an epic story and hope that everyone will want to read it, because I'm afraid they probably won't. And I've heard from too many people who've uploaded lovingly tagged collections of photographs to Facebook and hoped that their whole family would be delighted, and nobody really cared less. So there's a secret to this. There's a way in which you can take your thing and take that one thing and make it very special, and then share it in a way that people will really love it. And that's what I'm here to show you. So what does it even mean to share or to create your family story? The moment I say those words, you're probably thinking, but it's enormous, it's huge. My family story is my whole life, and it's all the lives of all of the people in my family. And you're probably thinking, it's like, where do I start? And also maybe there are some places I don't want to go, and I'll do it another time. So lots of reasons why we don't particularly get on with doing this, and that's why we feel disconnected. So I want to give you some really simple ways to think about that in the next few minutes. So a weird thing about the way that we live now is that we've got so much content, so much data, we sort of lose any, because why would you choose anything at all in particular? That's why I think it's very important to choose some very special things and to make them your sort of heirloom projects. It's probably going to be something that you do together for a reason that I will come to in a second. And if you make it into a special thing, then because you're doing it together, you have 2 wonderful outcomes. One of them is that you actually end up with this thing, the special thing, like in a box or whatever it is. But also, and this is not to be overlooked, also you have the wonderful experience of doing it with your family. And that experience needn't take you very long. And it's quite a bonding thing, it's a connecting thing. And it's how good to have a few of those moments at a time of digital distraction, and we're all scattered geographically and we're all really busy. How many times do we actually get connected? So to do a project like this gives you the opportunity to be connected. Some years ago, I went to Austria with Harriet and our daughter. And one day we were in this beautiful place. There was a lake, and it was surrounded by birch trees, and there were mountains surrounding it too. So it was a very enclosed, sort of cozy, secret world. And we hired a boat and we went out on the lake, and I got in the water. I can't remember if anyone else did. I had a little swim, got back on the boat, rowed the boat back to the cafe, and which was in this little building by where the boats were, and sat down at the table. And for some reason I had this idea, and the idea was just get my phone out and we'll interview each other about what we've done today. That was all we did, and we only had a minute or 2 each, and we had that little record of a wonderful time. I mean, it was a great day, and it was also interesting because we all had a slightly different take on things. So after I'd spoken, they didn't want to say the same thing, so everyone comes up with a slightly different version of what's important. Then later on, I would rediscover it. I'd go, oh, I've got this thing on my phone, and we'd play it and we'd listen. It would be quite funny because our daughter got older and her voice changed, and she sounded very little in the audio. And our points of view changed. We remembered things, and we thought, oh, I thought I said that, and oh no, you said that. So we all had a stake in this thing. So we all were quite interested in it, and we were all reflecting on something. So it's important to remember that we were all doing it together. Then one day I upgraded my phone, and I hadn't backed it up. for a very long time, and I lost that piece of audio. So I was like, And I was thinking about this not that long ago, and I thought, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I've got your piece of audio here. How much will you pay me for it?" I would pay a lot of money for that thing. It's in my mind now. It's become incredibly valuable. It's like really unique. Now that I've lost it, I know how valuable it is. It's almost in my mind become like an heirloom, and it's a story. It's a story that we made up. It's only a tiny bit. It's not like the whole story of our family. It's a tiny thing that we did. A friend of mine has lost his father, and he told me this story the other day, and it's a sad story, but it's a useful reminder of something, and so I'm sharing it in that spirit, and I hope you'll understand the value in it. When his father was still alive, his brother, the son, showed the father some old family movies, and the father was sitting there watching and going, "Oh yeah, that's when we did this thing with Auntie so-and-so," or anyway, remembering things. And his son said, "Shh, Dad, wait, let's just watch the film." So so his father kept quiet. And what they realised subsequently was, what a shame, what a terrible shame, because what would have been much better would be if instead of telling his father to be quiet, he'd actually recorded his father talking about it. So you'd have the audio to go with the video. You could even film the father watching it, film him from the side. So he's going, "Yeah, that's when we did that thing with Auntie." So there's a kind of a double quality, so that watching the video on its own is kind of, okay, that's quite interesting. But if you watch it with the commentary, way more interesting. If you watch the person watching it, bear with me on this one. If you just watch the father and you don't even see the film of Auntie so-and-so, if you just watch the father and he's going, "Yeah, that's when we did that thing," you can see the animation and the excitement in his face. That's what we care about. That's what we care about. These two people are very, very important to me, and they are a big part of my life now, but they're not my blood relations. And at the time the photograph was taken, I didn't know them. I could tell you lots of things about these two people, but you don't really care. So I'm not going to try to make you care about them, but I just want you to notice that you're looking at two strangers, and they don't mean anything much to you. But in a moment, I'm going to show you something that might slightly change your feeling about it. Here it is. What do you think? Is it starting to make sense now? What I'm hoping that you really get from this, because it's such a tiny little thing, but if you think about it, it's amazing, is that by recording that laughter, I make it possible for me to laugh again every time I watch it. And I want to kind of pop around and go and see those two people now and show it to them. And so what we've got is an artifact, a thing, which is more valuable because it's got the photo plus the layer of recorded laughter on top. So it's more valuable than it was before. It becomes a kind of an heirloom. But it's also a moment of connection which has been captured because we're all sitting there laughing. And so we remember the moment of that connection. So it's more valuable because of the connection. And it's also an opportunity to go out and get more connection, because I want to go and show them this video so we can have a good laugh at watching the video and having a laugh. So there's a kind of permanent inbuilt value in there that comes from creating a project. And I really want that for you. I want it for everybody. I think it's a wonderful thing, and you see how little effort it can take. Now, I've just mentioned to you the secret to the success of Who Do You Think You Are? I want to be really clear. There's nothing secret about it at all, because it's in plain view, but it's something that many people don't notice. And it's one of the main reasons why, if you try to share your family project with your own family, let alone with the whole wide world, you may not get much interest. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly what that secret is. And now I want to know a little bit more about you. I want to know what would be possible for you if you were able to create some kind of heirloom family project with story or pictures or audio or all of those things. Please go ahead and leave a comment down below. What small project might you start to create a family heirloom for your own family? Go ahead, leave a comment for me right now, and keep an eye out for the next video. Thank you. Till next time.